I still really want to make my makeup addiction video, and the reason is because in that video I do plan on telling you how I was able to build my kit in a way that I think was helpful to me in the midst of all the money that flies out the door when you're purchasing makeup and trying to build a kit and you don't know what you're doing. Hopefully that's helpful to you when I finally get that one up. But for now, if you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, go check those 2 out. They're very important. One is about the makeup that you put in your kit that you need, like makeup wise, and one is about the things that aren't makeup that you need. I just want to make it clear that this is all my personal opinion. But for part 3, this is actually a bonus part. Because these are things that you're not actually going to find in your kit. You can't actually even put them in your kit. You can't actually even buy them. Well, kind of. Bonus item number 1, education. I know that sounds so funny and so cliche, but it's true. Education is important. Unfortunately, not every school is going to teach you the things that you might want to learn, especially if you're going to hair school. Hair school, in my experience, focuses way more on hair than it does on makeup. That sounds ironic, but hair school is what we call cosmetology. Cosmetology is the umbrella under which makeup falls. Makeup is taught at hair school, cosmetology, but it's not focused on like it would be if you go to a school that's mainly for makeup. That's what I mean by that. So if you want to niche down to makeup specifically, and it depends on your state, what your requirements are, I would check that out before you spend money on a certification that you might not actually be able to utilize until you have one certification versus another. So education is important in that regard. It's also important in the safety regard. I mentioned in part 1 about having an alcohol spray or sanitizing spray, and that is for the safety of your clientele. I mentioned also about different brushes that you have that you would use. I think that I mentioned that in part 2 where, or no, I mentioned it in part 1. I think, but I mentioned different brushes that you use and how you don't want to cross-contaminate, you don't want to be spreading germs, and you want to be careful. So education is important, and it's basically all about sanitization and disinfection and being smart and having the right tools in your arsenal. Bonus item number 2 is confidence. That probably sounds like a bunch of garbage as well. Like it's cliche and silly and not necessary, but it absolutely is necessary. Confidence is key to anything that you're doing. Even if it's a fake it till you make it type of situation, you have got to have confidence when you've got somebody in your chair and you're doing their makeup. So don't stress those little stressful moments. A client can feed off of your energy. And I think that if you are uncomfortable, they're going to sense it. They're going to be uncomfortable. If you are confident and you find your way to make them feel confident and them feel comfortable, they will feel comfortable. They will trust you and they will listen to you. Which brings me to my 3rd bonus item that's not in your kit, but should be in your kit. The ability to set expectations. I'm sure there's a better way to say that, but that's the way I'm choosing to say it now. The ability to set expectations is huge. If you have a client in your chair and they're bringing up an AI picture and they're like, that's what I want, I'm not going to bend, you are never going to make them satisfied. They are never going to look like that, and it's not going to be in your favor at the end of the day. So having the ability to say yes, having the ability to say no, having the ability to mitigate a client's expectations, and having the ability to explain to them the possibilities or the alternatives in the case that you do have to say no to something is so helpful. Just to give an example of this, when I first started doing makeup, I had a woman come in, she had a special event she was going to, and I did this beautiful makeup on her. She wanted a cat eye. She didn't have the eye structure for a cat eye, but I was trying to give her what she wanted. And so I spent, I don't even know how long, a long time giving her this cat eye. At the end of the day, they were even, they were beautiful, they worked. You know what? She hated them because it didn't look good on her face, which I knew going in, but I did it because that's what she wanted. Long story short, if I had just said, you know what, I don't think this is going to be the right look for you, can we look at something else, and explain to her why, in as kind and as sweet of a way as I possibly can, that this just isn't going to work for your eye shape, we probably would have not wasted that time, and then I wouldn't have had to wipe that away and reapply just to get her out the door for her event. it just would have saved a bunch of heartache for her and for myself. And things like that do happen. And sometimes the client can think that they want something and get it and then decide that they don't. That's just normal. It happens. Which brings me to my final point, which is consultation. You need to have a thorough consultation with your clients. And on top of that, if you're doing a wedding client especially, you need to have them come in for a trial run. It's necessary. And yes, the trial runs, they should be paying for the trial runs. It is product spent, it's time spent, it's expertise spent, it's discussion. It is all part of the process. And anybody who is planning on spending all this money on a photographer and spending all this money on the venue and all this money on the dress, they're going to spend the money on their makeup. It's just how it is. Now, whether they like what you do is different. That's another reason why you need to find out, kind of figure out your niche and figure out where you land in all of this. If you're more of a natural makeup girly, if you're a glam girly, if you're if a classic pinup girly, if you're an alt girly, whatever it is that your niche is, find that, or try to specialize in all of it, or try to at least generalize, have a good idea that you can do all types of different things, a variable of things. But having those consultations and kind of figuring out, hey, is this going to work? Are we the right fit? Is so important. Asking the right questions, doing the trial run, those types of things will build confidence, and it will build your education, because a lot of education comes from experience. And I think that's all I have for today. So thank you guys so much for checking out this 3-part series. I hope that it was helpful. Again, if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, go back to my page and you'll find part 1, part 2, and this was part 3. I talk super fast sometimes, I'm sorry. And keep an eye out for my makeup addiction videos, because that will absolutely be coming very, very soon. Thanks guys. Bye.